severe disruptions if dock workers at ports along the East and Gulf Coast go on strike. A deadline is fast approaching. CBS's Tim McNicholas is in Jersey City, New Jersey, with details and possible fallout. Tim, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. The U.S. Maritime Alliance has until October 1st to reach a deal with dock workers. And ports like this one in Jersey City, New Jersey are ramping up work in anticipation of a possible stoppage. Work at some of the busiest ports in North America could soon come to a halt.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down.
The union, which represents more than 40,000 longshoremen at 36 ports, including major hubs like Charleston, Houston, and Miami, is demanding wage increases as well as protection from job-killing automation.
I've been fighting automation for years. They destroyed L.A.
Workers are threatening to strike if a new labor agreement with shipping companies represented by the United States Maritime Alliance is not reached by October 1st.
All activity in the Port of New York and New Jersey with regards to containerized cargo and automobile cargo will cease.
Each year, more than $200 billion worth of goods, including car parts, construction materials, and produce pass through the Port of New York and New Jersey alone. That trade supports more than 500,000 local jobs.
A 2-week strike could, cause these disruptions to feed into early 2025.
Ryan Sweet with Oxford Economics says if a deal isn't reached in time, a stoppage could disrupt more than half of U.S. shipping traffic.
A possible port strike in the United States is just days away. It could have a major impact on the global supply chain and cost the U.S. economy billions of dollars. The strike would hit a total of 36 ports along the East Coast and the Gulf of Mexico if a deal isn't reached by October 1st. Up to 45,000 dock workers, represented by the International Longshoremen Union, are demanding a 77% pay raise over 6 years and protections against automation. They currently earn a base pay of $39 an hour, or just over $81,000 a year. The workers and port bosses in the dispute have not met to negotiate since June, and no further contract talks have been scheduled. Experts say the U.S. economy could take a more than $3 billion hit per day, with between 43 and 49% of all U.S. imports being at stake as the deadline moves closer ahead of the holiday shopping season. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg discussed the possible outcome on CNBC.
A couple of years ago, there were things coming to a head on the West Coast. It resulted in workers getting a historic contract, a much-deserved raise, and a number of other provisions that were also compatible with the companies succeeding. And of course, with any labor negotiation, the outcome you're looking for is one that is workable for the business end and delivers the kinds of things that workers need and deserve.
President Joe Biden has said he will not invoke a national law to prevent the workers from going on strike. Some retailers are already planning in advance to redirect freight through the West Coast.
Thousands of dock workers along the U.S. East and Gulf Coast are threatening to strike within the next 2 weeks. It's a move that would shut down ports that handle about half of the nation's cargo from ships. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joins us. And Jeff, if a strike happens, dozens of industries could feel the effects. What are the dock workers asking for?
The focus is on two things, Dee Dee. Better pay and a ban on the automation of cranes, gates, also container movements. The International Longshoremen's Association says if those conditions aren't figured out by October 1st, they will strike. Jason Miller, a professor of supply chain management at Michigan State, tells us the ILA is looking for pay increases around 77 to 78%.
That is far higher than the roughly 32 to 39% that have been offered by the USMX.
Miller says the union is also demanding automation gets kept the way it is.
Because it views automation as a threat to jobs.
If a strike does happen, over 40,000 dock workers along the U.S. East and Gulf coasts will walk off the job on October 1st, something Miller says is concerning since those ports process between 50 and 60% of the goods that come into the U.S.
This is millions upon millions of tons of freight,
including auto parts, a specific industry Miller believes will significantly feel the effects of a strike.
The German automakers with operations in the southern United States, they're importing a lot of components from their suppliers in Germany.
Piyush Shah, a professor who also focuses on supply chain management, tells us, aside from the auto industry, these ports also handle a lot of agriculture and poultry.
These time-sensitive cargo, we might see a lot of damages.
Plus, he says imports from Europe, like wine, spirits, beer, and certain chemicals, could be impacted as well.
All European imports are more in danger than the Chinese.
Now, if the strike does happen, experts say ports on the West Coast could pick up some additional cargo, but not all of it. Neither could the U.S. rail system.
Clay County.
Well, Lord's will. But anyway, I want to say shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor as due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Give me 1 second.
Turns out eating Whataburger gets you Whataburger and more.
All right, so basically the video we just watched, which is pretty much in lieu of this video, it says a strike on October 1st may halt 50% of supplies to the U.S. for months. All right, and they're talking about a 77% pay increase over 6 years. So that's quite a bit, but, people are fed up with the shady dealings that these corporations are doing to the employees, not paying them enough, working the shit out of them. And second of all, man, people are just tired of working and not making ends meet. And what chances of this happening prior to the selection coming up in November? They need some type of black swan event, okay? Because, like we said, whoever wins November the 5th or whatever fucking day it is, we don't know. We don't even know if that will be a selection or election. But this is kind of around the same thing that happened back in 2020 when the pandemic hit, when a lot of those ports were pretty much shut down, and a lot of the cargo wasn't able to make it ashore to these particular stores. Hence, the supply chains were halted. Goods were bagged up for some time, and also prices went up. I remember the price of eggs went up to damn near $5-6 a carton, and that was for the basic stuff. So it looked like we're having a repeat of 2020. Because I remember even out here when we was working, and we drove past this little yard, man, and there was hardly any shipment containers over there. When they usually keep that it was like a little area out on like the north part of Kansas City, off like Front Street, around that area where the industrial area is, and they used to keep a lot of trailers there full of goods. And sometimes they have them in rotation and ship them, fill up the cargo, and then, bring it back and ship it to different stores. But it was empty for some time, and finding out that a lot of those supply chains were halted out there off the coast of Cali, which causes prices to go up. The supply chains were halted in so many ways, and they was losing a lot of money. A lot of shit went bad, and quiet as kept, I believe they still have some of those containers out there in the ocean that they haven't even allowed to come a dock yet, But yet they're talking about if they don't get their demands met, October 1st, they're going to walk out. So they're going to have to come to some type of agreement because, Babylon, even though it's shutting down right now, these people, they got too much to lose. So if they union board come with something, with some type of a decent wage amount and some type of agreement to pay them more, then they probably can, avoid it altogether, because this is kind of like what they do with government shutdowns. Before midnight of that particular said day, they would come up with these particular bailouts, and they'll bail out the government to be in operation for like 30 to 40 more days, and then, play repeat, which is adding more debt to the debt ceiling, to the point that they're not going to be able to raise the debt ceiling anymore, because I believe they already out of quantitative easing. But Esau, he prints money out of thin air. So ultimately, when the elites decide to take their ties out of this place, that's it. Because a lot of these corporations, a lot of these CEOs, a lot of these stockbrokers, a lot of these men that's rich in Babylon, a lot of them are taking their reserves out, and a lot of them are just, they're selling their stocks off, and they're going into hiding, because we're getting ready to see the biggest financial crash since the Great Depression, and perhaps even bigger than that. You know, the elites is talking about, well, you got guys out there saying, well, 2026, 25. But my hope and my prayer is for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to crash this bitch before the election. Because, I mean, hey, I'm ready to see shit go down, man. All right, enough is enough. So, like they say, hey, this can affect the U.S. economy for months up until 2025. If they don't come with any particular plans or bailouts, it's going to be bad. Because it says a strike on October 1st may halt 50% of the supplies for the U.S. for months, which things are going to go up. You know, basic necessities, household goods. I mean, motherfuckers was fighting over toilet paper back in 2020. You know, like some of the comments, it says if this happens, everything is about to get a lot more expensive. It says if we're making most of our own goods here at home, this problem will not be as big. Right, because they outsource every goddamn thing. You know. It said the blame would go to Biden, not Harris. This would be her excuse. And, you know, everybody got their own conjecture on what they feel the problem is. But the reality of it is that the Lord is getting ready to close this place down, okay, and for good. Because when Babylon falls for good, there ain't going to be no picking this place back up. All right, so I'm going to play another video real quick by Dabu7. And we're going to get a couple of precepts, and that'll be that. If I can find this shit real quick. Here we go.
Send professional invoices and get paid faster, all with the QuickBooks mobile app. Easily create.
Oh, come on.
What's up, guys? D7 back at you. And today it looks like some of the major news, it's kind of sliding under the radar, is that the SEC just made a huge mistake, huge slip up. Either did that or it was done on purpose, stealth-like. What they've done is they've released public commentary that was tied into this big speech that Gary Gensler just gave. And he is talking about the financial crisis. A financial crisis. So if people didn't think that we were in one or going into one, he speaks pretty clearly. His whole speech was geared toward all this stuff. Also about public disclosure, which they haven't told the public anything. So this may be the hint. And then he talks about big bank restructuring, which means that they got to come down. They're going to get torn down. They're going to get gutted. And to me, that happens in a huge event like the economy crashing. You dump off the top when you get it to a high, and that's where we're at. The S&P, the stock market's at an all-time high, gold roaring at an all-time high, and everyone's 401ks are tied in to the stocks. So when these billionaires dump, it's going to leave everyone holding the bag. I've been warning you of this whole time. It's where all the money's sitting. When all these crooks sit around and are like, well, where's everybody got their money sitting? They're like, well, they all got nest eggs. They all got 401ks. And they're like, we want it. And they devised a plan to get it. And they're going to get it. Because they've tied all your 401k stuff, all your money into the stocks. And when these billionaires like Buffett decide they want to start selling off the tip, they do so, and they've been doing so. And what's strange is they're not buying back into other stocks. They're going into cash or gold, which is an ominous sign something huge is going to go down. You know?
Yeah, markets are getting ready to collapse. So these big bankers are cashing out, man. All right. And they're not telling the people. So the 401k and all that other stuff that people are investing in, like, I mean, they penalize you for taking it early. But second of all, people that take their 401k, you know, early to pay off a couple of bills, a lot of times you got to pay taxes on it. But most of us ain't going to see that money because we ain't going to be here to retire because this place is going to be destroyed. And on top of that, let's just say if we did make it to 65, how unfortunate that would be in a place like this. We won't have anything to retire off of because, for one thing, all the money is going to fund wars and to fund all these political regimes, to people getting sex changes and providing rights for people that don't deserve rights. And second of all, sending all the money over to the small hats, man. Okay, which they own America lock, stock, and barrel, right along with China. Okay, like a lot of those skyscrapers and stuff that they building them downtown, a lot of that shit is owned by China, man. You know, so when they decide to say, you know what, we ain't dealing with the dollar, we're putting the plug on a dollar, that's a wrap. And this is the reason why they want to get this digital currency up and running. Okay. So anyway, it reads here, This is the book of Ezekiel 7, and I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at 12. It says, the time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn. For wrath is upon the multitude, all the multitude thereof. The entire multitude. Okay? The entire multitude, meaning everybody. Every man, every working man, every working woman, every working teen. Look, this is getting ready to hit everybody. If you ain't within that 1%, okay, well, you ain't in that top 5%, then you ain't, it's just going to be a hard day for you, man. And this is why we putting our faith and trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because we understand that a collapse is coming. Okay, so we already put our spiritual tokens in the Lord's, in his basket, because we understand, like the scriptures say, store up your treasures in heaven. Okay, we get this very much so. So therefore, the coming collapse is going to catch a lot of people off guard because they're not going to be ready. Okay, people ain't going to be ready to give up what they got. You know, like when the food crisis comes, and this is when people are going to bug the hell out. When Esau starts to take away the bread and circuses and the foods and the venues. Like back in 2020, when people couldn't live out their means anymore, people was like literally in a state of depression. You know, but it says here, the time has come, the day draweth near, let not the buyer rejoice. And it says here, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller should not return to that which is sold. You know, like a lot of people that sell goods, you may be in business, you may be in trading, you may be in stocks, you know, you may invest in the stock market, you know, you may have your own business, you may be a real estate broker or a real estate agent. You know, eventually, you know, what we work for isn't going to be to no avail, because it's all vanity at the end of the day. You know, all these little paychecks that we get, living paycheck to paycheck, eventually the paychecks are going to run dry. And then before you know it, you're going to be backed up on a mortgage. You ain't going to be able to afford the mortgage. You ain't going to be able to afford the rent. Okay, you ain't going to be able to afford to do the basic things in order to live. You see? So with this whole October 1st thing coming, I mean, we don't really know what's going to come of it. May not be nothing. It may be something. But it may be, you know, in the best interest for you brothers out there to probably get a little extra. You know, go to the store, get a couple of extra bottles of water, you know, some non-perishable products. You know, just so something in case, you know, shit do, I ain't gonna say hit the fan, but if things do go up and there is a supply shortages, hey, the store only have, 3 days supply of food. So it's probably good to, you know, stack you up on a couple of Chef Boyardees, you know. But nah, you know, either way it go, the Lord is going to be with us. But it says, for the seller should not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. Yeah, because, you know, you're going to have people alive here and trying to figure things out. But the Spirit of the Lord is going to just totally just lead people down the path of darkness and oblivion and despair because they trusted in his system. It says here, for the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which should not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. So it's just going to be a complete halt in society. And this is when chaos is going to break out, because once these systems go down, the food systems, or just in general, the supermarkets, the restaurants, those things are going to close down. So people are going to be in charade to go to these stores and, you know, try to take each other's goods. And that's when all hell going to break loose. And then they going to let people do what they do for some time, because they need to push people into the brink of disparity. So when people is at their breaking point, Esau can come in and say, you know what? Well, we got the solution. Take the microchip, which is the MOTB, and then, you know, we'll be able to reassure you that things are going to be okay. And most of these people going to opt into it because they want to get their old life back. But that's going to be a lie, because shortly after the MOTB is passed, the destruction is literally the next prophecy. If not, the destruction is the next prophecy. Okay, the next major prophecy, I'll say that. All right. It says here, they have blown the trumpet even to make all ready, but now go into the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Verse 15, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. But he that is in the field should die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence should devour him, okay? And that's when the shit is going to hit the fan. Okay, once Esau pulls the plug on his food, on his supply, on these supply chains, that's when murder she wrote, you know? And it will happen, whether it happen October 1st or it happened 6 months from now, it happened election night, we don't know. But it will take place, okay, because the scriptures speak on it. But the reason says, but they that escape of them should escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of valleys, all of them mourning everyone for his iniquity, and all hands should be feeble, and all knees should be weak as water. Yeah, because of the famine. Okay, people are going to be literally just in despair. Okay, they're not going to know what to do because the average dummy here, the average jackass in this society, only thing they care about is eating and drinking, man. Being a goddamn glutton. So what happens when the Lord finally shuts this place down? You're going to have chaos, panic. People going to be getting put to death in the streets. Because you better believe, hey, once them grocery stores, once those stores are emptied out, and once there ain't no food in those grocery stores, you better believe that, hey, they going to come knocking at them doors, man. And more than a knock, they going to kick the damn door in. Okay? And they going to take what you got and they going to take you. Okay? Like when you read some of these comments, they're like, well, yeah, silver and gold and bartering. Yeah, that's all good and dandy. And silver and gold may be able to sustain you for a small time. But who in America is really sitting on gold like that? Okay? Who's really sitting on gold? Because I believe gold is like damn near two something $1,000 an ounce. You know? So silver is probably your best friend right now. But even then, who the hell is going to buy silver when you ain't got nothing to barter with? You ain't got no food or anything like that. Then what the hell they going to want to hold on to precious metal just to look at it? No, they going to want to barter with that. So women going to be getting traded. Men are going to be fucking trading their wives, their kids, just for a piece of bread. Okay, and it's going to get real grimy out here, man. Hey, and we warning you now. All right, like reading this comment, it says, took my retirement. It says, whatever the hell that means. TIAA CREF in 07 and 08 happened. No 401k in this job because Jesus is coming for the past 21 years. The Lord has carried me through some very, very tough time, provided all my needs just as he has promised. Man, shut the fuck up. Well, I ain't dealing with you, bitch. I hate when people come with this crap. And I ain't, trying to be a fucking asshole, but at the same time, you people come with your empty ass, convoluted religious bullshit like the Lord is dealing with you. Motherfucker, you in your kingdom right now. Okay? Yahweh Shai didn't sustain you. And if he did sustain you, it's because he wants, the scriptures say even the wicked is reserved until the day of punishment. So I guess he did reserve you. But he didn't reserve you for your benefit. All right, and a lot of you Edomites out there, especially you Christian-ass Jakes too, a lot of you getting ready to find out that the Most High is not with you, and he never was with you. All right, that's why the Lord said, hey, go and cry to the gods you praised or you worshiped when your destruction comes. When your destruction coming as a whirlwind, hey, he said, go and cry to your other gods because you ain't crying to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, we're going to cry to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, as we always do, to provide for us in these times because, hey, it's going to get grimy for all of us. Some brothers may have to go 2 or 3 days without eating. This is why, we fast and build up our spirits. But even then, miracles. Okay, like the Most High commanded the ravens to feed Elijah. And he was to drink up the brook or the river, I believe, for 3 years. And then after that was gone, the Lord told him to go to a particular city and he was going to meet a widowed woman. And she was basically able to sustain him for the whole time. So things like that is going to happen. Provisions are already set up. People that come in and out of brothers' lives, man, hey, you just never know why you run into who you may run into. So it's already set up. Don't even worry about it, brother. When all hell break loose, don't worry about it. Don't worry about how you gonna eat. Don't be getting that, damn, man, I ain't ate a day. Did the Lord forgive me? Nah, man, the Lord gonna feed you if you his. Just chill. We gonna be all right. But these people, they fuck. And this is why guys like Dabu 7, this is why, what's this guy's name? David Hodges or whatever the hell his name is. Alex Jones, all these men, they're losing it. They're panicking. Okay, the common Edomite, he's in straight up disarray because, look, if Trump don't win this next election, these people have no hope. Okay, Trump is the last great savior for someone of a normalcy of a society. This society was never normal. Okay, so I'm going to play the rest of the video and get a couple more precepts. And all these big dogs stepping out of their positions and into the shadows, all these CEOs doing this now. So they're all stepping aside. The stage is set. We're at a high. This guy's talking about restructuring everything. You can only do it if it comes down. But the commentary that was accidentally released with this was basically stating that they should put some kind of sentence or an asterisk or something up front that lets the people know, warns them, lets them know that
there's not an imminent crisis coming. And the language, the way that they're talking, it's almost like there is an imminent crisis about to happen. And they want to make sure that they keep the public calm. So, look, we wake up one day and something's popping off at the banks. We've been talking about this for a long time, warning about it. The writing's on the wall. Big dogs are dumping. The main guy at the SEC talking about restructuring this whole thing. It can only happen if they tear it down, if it comes down. And you know what that means. To me, it's the great taking. It's what sends this place into the depression. They steal everybody's stuff. The Great Depression, they stole the farm and all the goods that way. This time, they're taking everything you got in your savings account. Everyone. And it's going to be one big thing worldwide, because these markets are tied in together deeper than they ever were. I'd watch the signs. We may not get many warning signs, but slip up. Are they telegraphing? Well, it's out there now. Just heads up, because I feel anytime, any day, something like this is going to go into play. And just remember, this is what's also going to allow them to initiate pushing their Biden bucks or the Kamala bucks or whatever it is. It's government money that will be sent to a digital wallet to match whatever you got in your account.
That's that micro C-hip. See? Even they see it. What the hell is wrong with you other Israelites out there? I do not know. But he see it. He said Biden bucks or Kamala bucks or whatever you want to call it. But that's talking about the form of the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, which will be predicated within your MOTB. Okay, this current money system, this money's supposed to been up out of here. Okay, it just, they dragging their knuckles, but they already got the system set up. It's just a matter of bringing about the proper collapse, you know.
Because they're going to say you can't get dollars out and all this other stuff, and that's the whole trick of it. And these people are going to gobble it up and not think twice. That's the scary part. So a heads up there on this, man. Yep. Wanted to put some eyes on it, some attention on it. Big mistake or not, they're telegraphing something big happening again. So we're only going to get so many warnings, guys. I'd make moves now. Feels like the window's closing. Join me for the live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So yeah, so let this bitch fall. All right. And I'm going to actually read this article. I'm not going to read it on this lesson, but I'm going to actually go into it. I'm going to read it because I want to go more in thorough and get a little bit more understanding on what's being said as well. But anyway, so yeah. So let's go from here to the book of Zephaniah 1:10. And it says, and it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh, that there should be a noise of a cry from the fish gate. And remember, they were saying those port cities, those coastal cities, you know, going back into like over in the East Coast, Texas, the Gulf of Mexico, even in Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, in the Seattle province, man. They you know, that's good and good in trade, you know, because they have a port up there as well, I believe, you know, and the scriptures goes into it. But it says that there should be a noise of the cry from the fish gate and a howling from the second and a great crashing from the hills, okay? It says a great crashing, okay, because this is going to make the Great Depression look like child's play. And it says, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all that bear silver are cut off, man. So you stockbrokers, you investors, you know, you got Jake, man, talking about, yeah, man, I invest, I own 5% of Coca-Cola. Nigga, yeah, no, you don't. Okay, you basically just putting money into a share to be a partner with something, but when it all goes down, you ain't getting none of that back because you stupid niggas don't understand that the stock market is controlled. Okay, it's controlled by a higher elite, and they understand the trends in the markets, and they call each other and tell each other, look, cash out now. We getting ready to crash this bitch. You know, and you stupid jakes, you don't understand money. You know? But it says, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, and all that bear silver are cut off. Okay? So, yeah, the coming crash is literally seconds away. Lord's will. All right? Isaiah 19, and I'm going to start at verses 5. It says, and the water shall fail from the sea, and the river should be wasted and dried up, and they should return It says, and they should turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of the fence should be empty and dried up, and the reeds and flags shall wither. This is going into a total collapse, man. And it says here, and the paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. And the fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast an angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the water shall languish. Yeah, because, you know, the markets are going to be shut down. Ain't no goods, no supply chains. Things are going to come to a halt, you know, and things are just going to be at a standstill. And when it gets pushed to shove, the elites are going to ration these things out. Okay, and me personally, I believe that predicating to people getting the MOTB, this is how they're going to ration things out. And even if you do opt in to the new system, you're still going to be without, especially you Jakes, okay? Because, you know, they're going to give you the excuse like, look, things are slow. We don't have things in inventory. We're waiting on things. You know, they're going to be giving you the runaround. You know, that's what this devil do best. He gives Jake the runaround. And it reads here, it shall lament, and they should spread nets upon the water shall languish. And moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks should be confounded, and they should be broken in the purposes thereof, and should make sluices and ponds for fish. Okay, and I'm going to go down to verses 14. It says, for the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to earn every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in his vomit. So everything from your top CEO positions in these Fortune 500 companies, I mean, they lower level employees, rather like the banks and shit, gonna get caught. Okay, you real estate investors, you're gonna get caught. You millionaires, you through. Okay, if you're a millionaire, you ain't gonna make it. Okay, if you ain't 100 billionaire and up, then you really don't have a chance on making it, man. You know? And it says here, neither should there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail or branch or rush may do. And in that day, Egypt should be like unto women, and it should be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he's shaking over it. So these are the times we coming into, brothers. All right, so just embrace, stay prayed up, you know, pray for deliverance, pray that the Most High really bring this fucking place to its knees, man, and destroy it. Be ready to get the kingdom. And with that,